Sometimes I wonder why I'm just so blessed.
No bite.
Like God really just keep on blessing me, and it's not fair to you hoes. Y'all fucking it up for bitches like me. Bad bitches. Bitches with self-esteem. Yes, I indulge in talking shit.
Welcome back to the Diamonds Dosage podcast. And today I am so excited. I am sitting with a special guest, an Emmy award-winning guest, Robert Ri'Chard.
World, how you guys doing?
Dang. You may know him from Cousin Skeeter, but my favorite is One-on-One. Robert, do you want to introduce yourself a little more?
What's going on, world? How you guys doing out there? Everybody at home, everybody listening. Some of the people in their automobiles, in their cars, listening on their phones to say what's up. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for having me, though.
No,
Seriously.
thank you so much for being here. I'm really grateful.
It's a blessing.
Let's actually just jump right into it today. So the topic today is lust, and I feel like Robert can give me a little insight on lust and what it looks like in men versus women. I think that lust is something that is temporary. Something that men, if you're single, if you're married, like it never goes away. It's like this inner dog in a man, and they always want something. Like it's a beast, it's an animal. What is lust to you? What does it look like to you?
So let's start from the beginning. So lust is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Oh, come on, yes.
Right, so it's gluttony, it's sloth, it's lust, it's wrath, it's envy, and there's 2 other ones. I can't think of them right now. Help me out at home. If you guys are at home, you have to know the other 2. So I think that, it really comes from like sins of the flesh, right?
Oh, yes, that the flesh versus the spirit.
Right, which is of the earth, right? So that burning desire is something that is carnal. It's really in all of us.
Yes.
And it's really, kind of a test about like where can you align what you're supposed to do
Yes.
with what you want to do.
Yes.
Right?
Do you think it's more present in men than it is in women?
It's crazy. I think that the way that the world has been shaped and society has been shaped, it's okay for us to be vocal about it.
Yes.
Right. So in our community, we see it like in the rap songs.
Right.
Too,
I think it's a hypersexuality thing too.
Right. But I think it burns harder in women.
Hold on.
Don't talk about
you
it
had me in the first quarter.
No.
But I'm trying to figure out, why do you think that it burns more in women than men?
Because in my interaction with women, it's like there's that line that you can cross where a woman will be lustful. So it's like, she's like, I won't do it, I won't do it, I won't do it, I won't do it. And then you push her over the edge.
And she does it.
And she does it. And it goes like, so I think that's why it burns. You guys have a stronger cap on it.
Yes. I think women have more self-control than men, to be honest. I think men are visual. And like when something looks good to a man, he wants it. Like, and it's this burning sensation, like you said. Like when something looks visually good to a man, when it's pleasing to a man, he wants it. But a woman knows. Like if she's in a relationship, she thinks about it. I feel like men don't have that. They don't take that second to think. You know what I mean?
Right,
like that lust
more
is just
impulsive.
More impulsive. Do you think that it's an age thing, or do you think that like men that are 50 and married still have this impulsiveness?
I think that, in certain ways that like we as men kind of think being a man is allowing yourself to be lustful.
Right. Is it because you've been conditioned that way though?
It could be a little bit colloquial. It could be a little bit thing of that.
Come on, vocabulary.
That's like, what we've seen and what's in our community and what's accepted as being like masculine.
Right.
Even just from a simple, like if you watch music videos, it's like even catcalling.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you see a girl walking down the street and you're like, hey girl, what's going on? What's up, mom? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then like go like get her. But then also it's like, does a woman want to be prey? Like, do you want
Absolutely not.
Okay. Tell me
Absolutely
about that.
not. Like, women actually despise catcalling because I feel like it's so disrespectful to a woman to be like, hey, you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's disrespectful to a woman because that's not her name, number one. And that's not how you approach a woman, a lady that you're potentially trying to, date or whatever.
So my question for you is this. What is it that allows that to switch, though? Like, a guy can call after you, but then still get your number. Like, he might have came at you incorrect on the jump. But
a lot of women, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of women give their number out because they're afraid. Because a lot of things that's happening in this society, I feel like a lot of men, They fear rejection. And once they fear rejection, they become a little angry. And a lot of these men, their ego is fragile. So it's like a lot of women just do that to protect themselves. And a lot of women just are fearful.
That's smart, actually.
It is very smart. It's definitely a survival skill.
Know that, though.
No, they don't, because they continue to do it. And it's like, stop.
Right.
Especially at the gas stations. Can y'all please stop?
I'll just give him my number, then I'll just block
and I'll
him.
just
Later.
Yes. But I don't think that lust is something that's just only something that's sexual. I think men have this lust after status and cars, wealth, and all of those things. I don't think it's super present in women like it is in men. I think that men's ego is just...
Do you think that that's immature, that's trivial?
Yes, I do. And like you said earlier, I think that is something that's the flesh versus the spirit. And I feel like as you get more inclined with yourself and you do the self-reflection and you become more spiritual, I think that lust for those things will go away.
Do you get mad at men like that lust after you?
Yes.
Why
because I feel like hold on, what's going on?
Yeah, I'll flip that real quick.
You ready for me? What was the question?
Yeah, no. I said, do you get mad?
Yes, because I feel like that's not where I'm at, like mentally. So it's like I know when a man is lusting after something. I know when a man is just acting out of his flesh. I know when he's not acting out of his spirit. I know when he just wants instant gratification. You know what I mean? And that's how I see lust. I see lust as something that's instant gratification, because I don't see lust as infatuation, or I don't see it as love at all. Like, I think lust is something that's so temporary, and a lot of decisions are made out of lust.
Right. So what about, like, you said instant gratification. So like the adverse of that would be like delayed gratification.
Yes.
And so we all know that delayed gratification, one, it bears more fruit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, the patience is a virtue.
Absolutely,
yes.
Right? And it's something that can't be taken away as easily because you earned it, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, how do you think that you can become mature enough to start focusing on delayed gratification? We live in this world where everything is like Uber Eats. Instagram, like
the convenience of everything. It's like the convenience of everything. Like, even with sex, like, you can get sex conveniently these days as well. I think that it takes a lot of self-reflection and like knowing what you want, and I think in knowing who you are too, that will delay the gratification, because you're going after all of these things, and it's like I feel like you're trying to fill a void. I think lust is filling a void, and once you delay the gratification, you can really sit with yourself and figure out, like, wait, is this really for me? Like, is this really what I want? Like, I think that takes a lot of praying and, like, self-reflection.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you lust? Are you guilty of it?
Sometimes I do lust, because I'm still a human. I think it's a battle. But I think it's more a battle for men than it is for women.
I think you guys have more control over it. So where do you go get sex? Like, no, straight up question. Like, where do you, like, when you want to get sex, is that like, I'm going to go look hot and go out on the street? I'm going to go get on this Tinder app.
It's like, I'm going to call one of these men.
I'm going to call my ex-boyfriend. Where do you go get
nothing in the past, baby.
Where do you go get sex?
If I'm dealing with somebody, then that's who I have sex with. I don't just be like calling down my, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like men do that. Like, y'all just be like, you know what? I need to bust a nut. Let me call somebody.
Yeah, get through the phone.
And that's lust.
Scrolling through the
phone.
That's
lust.
Right.
And that's lust.
I think a lot of men can be guilty of that, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that married men see if they still got it? Because I remember this one episode of Martin where he, like, took his ring off at the gym, and he wanted to see if he still had it.
When you in a relationship, you don't have it no more.
Wow.
Because it's like you lose that, like, ferociousness. It take a little bit of time to, like, get back on that, like, hunt game. You know,
that's what it is. It's a hunt. It's really like the thrill of the chase, like the thrill of new pussy. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I really think that's what it is. Like, you guys excited by that.
If you're in a relationship with somebody, especially if it's a healthy relationship, you don't have it no more. You can't go to a bar.
But you still look at other women like, ooh, I would, you know.
But you wouldn't. But you get sea legs. You can't.
What's that?
Sea legs is like you forget how to walk. Like, you would go to a bar.
You forget how to talk to a woman.
If you're in a relationship with a woman and you go to a bar, you won't know what to say.
Wow.
Your topic of discussion is not going to be sharp.
I never thought of that.
Because you haven't been like edging your sword.
Right.
And that's a lot of times where you see people get like the revenge bias. So you go get back in the gym and start pumping iron a little bit.
It's like a crisis.
There you go. Get that testosterone pumping again. And that's when the mind starts going, okay, we're going back on the hunt. Let's go figure, let's switch gears a little bit. And then you start becoming fly, you know.
So does the lust ever go away? Do you think the lust ever goes away? Or do you just tame it?
I think there's certain people who are real responsible and can really sort of live in their higher self and be connected to God and be connected to a higher power and sort of like balance it. There are people who are madly in love for a long time.
That's true.
You know, and I think
we don't see enough of that, and that's my thing. Like
it's
the media,
not glorified.
Yeah, like you said, like earlier, like the media has a lot to do with lust and how like they present these images of, you know, beautiful women, money, cars, clothes, and it's like those things are very lustful.
Right.
I think that we should do better as a whole society, especially our men, because I think men don't take the time with themselves like women do to reflect and like know who they truly are. So lust is more present in them.
But like,
I'm sorry,
but you know, but I think also too. It can be a little bit about what kind of music we listen to.
Yeah,
you know, like so
it's
like,
what we consume.
So, so what I'm saying is like, you know, like if we're sitting here talking, someone's like, "What kind of music you listen to?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I listen to hip hop. You know, I listen to R&B, whatever," which is all like lust oriented.
Yes,
but like, if I told you like, "Oh, I only listen to gospel music. I only listen to church music," you'd be like,
"Hold on, because some preachers."
That's kind of weird.
Hold on, because we know the preachers are not just holy moly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I know, but there's a lot of people though who have control over that lust, and like their input is, I listen to Christian music. You know, I don't listen to non-secular music. You know what I'm saying? Like they keep it where a lot of what I'm getting daily, that influence is God and love and being committed and matrimony.
And that plays a huge part in it.
But you don't think that I mean, a lot of, not saying you personally, but I'm saying a lot of girls don't think that that's cool, but that should be cool. It should be cool in a different kind of way. Yeah. But it should be cool. Like, a girl shouldn't frown upon you if you like basketball and Christian music. But she shouldn't be like, well, you like basketball and Christian music.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But the thing is, women have been conditioned as well. Women have been conditioned by society to believe that, you know, these other type of images are important, and this is what you should go after, and this is what you should chase. I think that women, this is another thing for me. I think women do a terrible job at assessing men, like in understanding who a man truly is. I think women have a terrible perception of the man that they're dating. A lot of times women don't really do the research and like analyze the type of man that they're dating, and they end up with a lustful man.
Right, for sure. So like iconically, like who would you say is like a couple that's like, you know, our age or whatever, that's like a power couple that you think is like, okay, that's an example of a healthy relationship, and like that man is not lusting over people? Who would you say?
I honestly think Sierra and like Russell Wilson, or like
he's Christian, and he's Christian.
Yeah, and Michelle and Obama.
Okay, another Christian man. It's like,
and so you think that in a relationship you have to have God first? Like this is what you have to have. God should be first.
But what I'm saying is,
hallelujah.
In our neighborhoods and our blocks, I never hear a girl be like, "Oh, Russell Wilson, hottest man alive."
True.
You see what I'm saying?
And I think,
like no girl's like, "Oh, Barack Obama, that's the kind of man I want. Like he's fly." But I never hear nobody say it though. It don't never hit no top like GQ top 5. It should be like, you know, Russell Wilson, Dwayne Wade, and Barack Obama.
But Dwayne Wade had a baby on his wife. Let's not start there. But I think you're right about this. I think women should pick better men. Period. Because I think good men do exist.
So then, are we just like, are men doing the behavior that they feel that women?
And that's what I want to ask you. This is why you're here, Robert. Okay? I wanted to ask you, like, do you think that women go after these men because they equate that with masculinity? Like, do you think that men equate status, money, sex, and power with being a man?
So I'm just gonna speak from myself.
Okay.
I'm a leader.
Okay.
So I'm down to set a new example and hold by it. Like, you know, the whole thing about like you reap what you sow.
Yes.
So like I got my own seed, and my seed is different.
Right.
But I'm willing to tend to it. I'm willing to put my seed in the soil and give it water and nurture it. So what do I do with my time? I work out. I educate myself. I read books. I align myself with other strong men. And I think that in certain ways, women are kind of like put off a little bit sometimes. They're like, or just surprised that I'm not trying to do what
the rest of the men are doing.
Exactly. So, I don't own all the Jordans like everybody
so
else.
So you think lust comes with a certain type of man. Lust can't come with a man who's well-read, a man who works out, a man who consumes positive things. You think lust comes from men who consume negative things.
But what I'm saying is I think that because I'm really trying to be a leader in this, that when a woman's shocked, then she changes gears. She's like, that seed's going to grow into a redwood.
Right.
And the more I continue to talk to her and educate her and share with her and have her change her perspective and talk to her about traveling and talk to her about what her goals are.
You're adding value. You're adding value.
Absolutely. Then it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I don't encounter this type of individual that often.
Right.
And
a lot of women are intimidated by that, though. If they're not on that level, they're intimidated by that.
But I just get that from my dad. My dad was that way. My dad was military, and I had a great relationship growing up with my dad. Still do. I love my dad.
Does that start at home? Does like the longing for something to fill your void, does that start at home?
No, I think it starts at puberty.
Really?
Straight up, yeah. Yeah, when you're a young man, like, you go through that puberty age, like, you start seeing women with, like, different eyes, And you're trying to strategize how to acquire that, how to hunt for that,
Interesting.
I mean, when I was 15 years old, I was working 60 hours a week. I was with superstars. I was on Cousin Skeeter. I did light it up.
Yes,
right? I'm working, right?
Yes.
So I have like access to all these like beautiful women, Megan Goods and Kyla Pratt and all that. And as a man, you can't help but try to figure out like, so how would I get that girl?
Right. Do you think that's something that's innate, or do you think that's something that you've been brainwashed to do? Like, do you think that's something that's innate as a man? Like, oh, let me get her. Or do you think that's like, okay, this is what society is telling me to do?
I think for me, it probably came from my father. My father's like, you're a man, right? Go get her. Show me you're a man. Go impress her. Do whatever, Open a door for her. Walk on the outside of the street. Make her laugh. Oh, girls love to laugh. Girls love to laugh. Make her laugh, And you do that, and then that's how you start getting the girl,
right?
And then figure out a clever way to say, I want to see you again. Let's go out on a date, And
so it's a hunt. Like this whole thing.
It's a hunt.
I've been bamboozled. This whole thing is a hunt. Like, I just don't even know what to say. Like, men are on the hunt for women.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Have you ever dated guys outside of like the black race?
I have not, but I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it.
And
what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've dated every girl across the board, every like nationality. I don't discriminate when it comes to that. I just like good people, good food, good music, laughter. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out, have a good time, let's laugh, let's get up and dance a little bit, enjoy some music, have a little bit of drink.
Is it different at all?
I think also we all kind of are attracted to what we're comfortable with. And I think that my dad raised me to be comfortable with a lot. So I see like, a good woman no matter what, nationality she is. I'm going to try and entertain her and show her a good time and let her know that, I'm a provider and that, she should fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Period. How do you think that, because we're winding down a little bit, how do you think that we should handle temptation or handle lust? And this is a two-part question. How do you think lust is different in men than it is in women?
I think that it's okay to set parameters, So it's like when you're young, let's say when you're like, kids these days are grown. I see you guys out there, y'all grown. But like, let's say you're like 13, 14, right? And like the girl's like, we're only going to kiss. Right. So that's the parameters that are set. And then everyone kind of follows those rules.
Right.
Okay, we're going to kiss, and then that's going to be it. That's it. So I think that, as adults, we have to be a little bit more vocal about what the parameters are going to be.
The boundaries. We need to express our boundaries.
Right.
Yes.
And for everyone, that's different. And, sharing those boundaries up front, you can kind of figure out.
Robert came to talk today, y'all.
Who you're messing with and how you agree with them. You got a question or what? Amen? Amen.
Amen in the back.
So imagine this, though. Imagine that a girl was like, we're going to go on 10 dates.
Right.
We're going to go on 10 dates before your first kiss. Then.
He's going to wait for that kiss.
He's gonna wait 10
This
days.
is what I tell women all the time. Like, you set the standard. You set the standard, period.
But like,
you set the tone.
Right, but then the thing about it is you still have to be a man. And you can say, how about this? How about you kiss me now? And I take you on 10 dates.
Plot twist. Wait.
Right.
Wait, I wasn't ready for that one. I wasn't ready for that one.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, and, that's why I think, our man has to be an alpha in that way. It has to be able to assert himself and say, like, okay, I understand what your parameters are. I'm listening.
I feel like men
you.
assert themselves a little too much, but go ahead.
But, like, I'm listening to what you want, right? And what you want is that you want quality time that we spend together before, like, this reward. But I'm saying that, our chemistry and our magnetism is so strong
that we should kiss.
I see you right now.
That's
like,
lust.
I want to connect with you right now and kiss you now, and then I'll still take you on 10 days.
But you can't believe the things that these men say, okay? Actions speak louder than words. And I think lust is still more present in men than it is in women. I don't know what it is with y'all. I don't know if y'all are built differently, but I think
women are beautiful. I mean, y'all smell good. Y'all smell so good.
Y'all cannot help yourselves. Y'all cannot help yourselves.
And then when a woman's happy, like, oh, it's nothing better.
It's so good. It's so good. But temptation is a thing that we all should.
So let me ask you a question. So, we live in a world right now where people can be, fluid and people date, same sexes and whatnot. Do you think that a woman approaches a woman differently than a man?
Absolutely, and they eat pussy better too.
Okay, so that's amen to that. So, but is that lust too?
It is.
Okay.
But it's still a different type of lust. It's a different type of lust. I think that women have more self-control over their lust, Robert. I really do.
I think the woman that's on the receiving end of getting her pussy eaten is lusting even just as much as the girl that's giving it too, though. It's like, this is a fantasy. This is something that I've been like dying to try or good. Like it's I think it's even more heightened
your head in the
because
back.
it's more taboo. It's more taboo. So you're
It
more
is. It's
you're more
like
excited.
It's more of a thrill.
It's a thrill. You're like, we're not supposed to be doing
You
this.
know what, Robert? You got me changing my mind, and I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that. I'm
So
just
then,
kidding.
so what do you think with the approach is when a woman's talking to another woman? Do you think that it's the same?
I think it's more sensual. I think it's more emotional intelligence involved because women have that and men seem to lack that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where do you think that emotional intelligence comes from? Just from being a woman, or
it's from understanding emotions, and I think men have a hard time understanding emotions, especially.
Does understanding emotion, does a man make you sensitive? Does sensitive make you?
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. And that's what we need to stray away from as well. Like, emotions don't make a man sensitive. Can we please stray away from that? Like, I'm tired of that.
Right. Because I would say that I have a low emotional quotient, like whatever, EQ.
Really?
Yeah, I think I have a really low emotional quotient, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. But
Thank you for being transparent.
Yeah,
but why do you feel like it's low?
Because I feel like my nature is more like assignment oriented.
More like provide, protect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just like assignment oriented. So like for guys, especially guys who kind of like grew up with like the sports mentality, it's like your coach is telling you, I ain't got time for you to have emotions right now. You need to go on that field and hit that ball or run the ball up the field. Or
that makes me so sad.
Score that basketball, right? So like don't.
So are you like emotionally unavailable in your relationships?
I think that I come more from like a tactful side. That like I would say yes. I would say that goodness. I am emotional unavailable in relationships.
You gotta work on that.
I'm working on it right now. But my question to every woman in like my life is like, where do you want this to go? Let's just get there.
Do you feel like you're afraid of being emotional, or do you feel like you don't feel comfortable being emotional?
Honestly, I think, and I'll be honest with you. Like, I think that there's like this emotional journey that people can be on.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I think that there's some specificity in my mind, in my heart about, so where's this going?
So you want to see longevity before you express your emotions to someone? Yeah,
and I want to know what you want. Like, let's say like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, they're a dope couple.
Yes. I love them.
And it's like, so, there's a time when they were like, didn't have a lot of money and they were really being active and being of service to people. And like,
so you want a woman to hold you down?
But what I'm saying is she, if he asked her, where's this going? Where are we going? And she's like, we want to be of service to all. Mm-hmm. We want to be an example to people. We want to be of service.
Yes.
And so in that assignment of being of service, you watch them rise to power, to notoriety. Like everyone's like, we admire you. You're such a powerful couple. You're acting for other people, not for yourself.
So that's what you want.
And they went to Senate, and then he became president. She's the first lady, and now they're still of service to the entire public through philanthropy and through all that stuff. But that's where they're going.
Right.
And I see that as healthy, as opposed to not sort of like this abstract journey of.
You don't think that we just experience certain people? Like everybody's not in our life to be in our life for long seasons or longevity. Some people we just experience.
Yeah.
And do you think that's okay to share your emotions with people that we're just supposed to experience, not people that we're supposed to have in our lives for longevity? You know what I mean?
See, so like, okay, so, you know, I sort of the classic traditional man, you know, setup. So when I think of myself, I think of I'm building a legacy.
Right.
So like when I have a woman in my life,
you want her to be a part of that.
I'm like, I want you to be a part of that, but like, let's birth a big family.
Right.
Let's have a lot of children together. And let's teach those kids how to be functional members of society, how to have our back, how to love and whatnot. And then let's make that continue where they have children like that.
Right.
And so when I think of doing that, it's almost like my brain goes, so don't get confused about being too emotional. Like focus on that goal that you want, the destination. And that's what I'm working on and challenging. And, you know, I've never really had somebody to talk so.
Women need men who are emotionally available, period. The relationship would not work if the man is not emotionally available. Understanding her emotions, expressing your emotions, saying when something's wrong to you and when it hurts your feelings. Like, I know y'all got feelings. I know y'all got feelings. So, like, women need that. And it's like, okay, we need you guys to protect and provide and think of this generational, you know, wealth. But we also need you guys to be human and to be emotional. Can you do that?
But see, the 1950s archetype for a man doesn't really
provide that emotional
it's like
component.
It's like you know, protect the country.
Yes.
You know, make money.
So you a 1950s man?
And you know, my dad's 87. My dad was 20 in the 50s. So you see what I'm saying? Like my dad had me when he was 50, but in the 50s he was 20.
So you're like a really traditional man.
A really traditional man, exactly. Really classic traditional man.
Understandable. It makes total sense. It makes total sense.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We go close this thing down. Thank you so much, Robert, for having me. You're fun. I love the way you talk. I love the way you talk. I just want to say something about temptation really quick. What was your last thing about temptation? Like, how can we handle that? How can we have control over temptation?
Right. I think just the answer is, you know, you just got to make sure that the inputs in your life are something that's keeping you mature and accountable and responsible, whatnot. You know, your behavior sort of determines what you're going to start, who you're going to become.
Yes.
You know? And then also just like, you know, working on your emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence, your you know, spiritual intelligence, and that's very important.
You got any questions you want to ask me?
All right, so first question for you. First question. What's the longest relationship that you've been in?
5 years.
5 years. And was that a healthy 5 years or was it?
I was toxic.
It was toxic.
I was toxic.
You were toxic.
Yeah, but it was like a high school relationship. Like, does that even count?
So what was that? What was toxicity coming from about you specifically? So elaborate on this toxicity. Hold on.
I just was like mean as hell for no reason. Like I was just like making him feel like I was making him feel like he wasn't enough. And I had to reflect on myself, like, damn, why was I acting like that?
Did that come from the household? Did it come from like manipulation?
It came from, look at Ty, because she's loving these questions. It really just came from me not knowing any better, not knowing who I was, not having self-love too. Like, why am I treating this person like this? He did not deserve that. You know, like he was a great boyfriend to me and I was just like terrible. Like cheated in everything.
Okay. All right. And the second question is, do you believe in divorce?
Do I believe in divorce? Yeah, if that shit ain't working, bye.
See?
Bye, nigga.
see.
I'm sorry, Robert.
And so my question is this, is that we're talking about emotional intelligence. Is that
sometimes marriages don't work out, though. Sometimes marriages just don't work.
Because I would say the reason that marriages don't work is because they're not close to God.
That's true. But the number one reason why marriages don't work is because financial issues.
But see, I think that, like, okay, so you're saying that statistic, that the financial reasons.
This is a great guest today, y'all.
You know, you're saying that statistically it's financial reasons, but I would say that, like, they talk about in the church that, like, if you're, like, in a covenant, the closer you get to God, Like love is like a triangle.
Yes.
The closer you get to God, the closer you get to each other.
And I believe that. I put God first in everything I do, and I want a man that does that as well. And I think if you don't have God in your relationship, I think it's gonna crumble. I really believe that.
So like me being a traditional guy, like I feel like I'm marrying God.
Yes.
Through a woman.
Yes.
And so that's my commitment forever.
So you think that even if the relationship is not working, you guys are having these trials and tribulations, she's cheating, like you think that you can get through all of that?
I mean, if
sometimes you just have to leave people where they stand.
I don't know if a vow works that way, to be honest. You know, I think a vow is kind of like saying
forever.
You know, for better, for worse, for sicker and for, I'm gonna stick this thing out because it's my commitment.
Well, y'all know if y'all marry Robert, you ain't going nowhere. Okay,
you're not going nowhere.
You're not going anywhere. I just want to leave you guys with a mental health tip for the day. The mental health tip for the day is know when you're operating from your flesh and know when you're operating from your spirit. Those are two different things. One is instant gratification and one is delayed gratification. You guys have to make the choices for you and for the people that you care about. I want to thank Robert so much for coming on the Diamond Dosage podcast. Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, I have a lot of things coming up. But before, listen, people are battling with
what is this?
With mental health and whatnot. This is for stress, anxiety.
Hello?
If you have
EPM,
it's great for babies. It helps calm. It's called Calm. It's from EPM. If you're at home or you have your phone, you can go on EPM Product X, EPM Products. That's EPMProductX.com. And all the healing products there is better science, better medicine.
Thank you so much for coming, Robert.
So much.
You guys, make sure you check out that EPM. And I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in to the Diamond Dosage podcast.
I love you. God bless.
Okay.